you. Good morning, everybody. Hey, hey. Welcome to NYC, NFT.NYC at Radio City Music Hall. This is incredible. 15,000 people, up from how many, Jody? 400 the first year? I've been at every one. It's an incredible honor to be here and speak to you about NFTs. Now let's talk about them for a second. NFTs are the most successful new consumer product introduced since the beginning of the smartphone. We've sold more than $30 billion of NFTs in the last 2 years. This is extraordinary. You would know this by reading the headlines, because you would hear about all the terrible gloom and doom of crypto crashing and terrible macroeconomic conditions, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you the state of NFTs, what's been going on. Well, you guys probably know some of the data. I'm a data-driven thinker. Let me share some information with you to remind you. This is, by collection, total amount of NFT sales. Extraordinary numbers. We've got Axes at more than $4 billion, $2 billion of punks, $2 billion of apes sold and transferred. NBA Top Shot, the most successful sports collectible, more than $1 billion. This is evidence, I submit to you, that this is not some passing fad. It's not some crazy pump and dump. This is the beginning of the ownership of digital intellectual property. Now, one question we get asked is how many people are interested in NFTs? Well, it looks like we've had, if we look at the global crypto market, maybe about 100 million wallets or so created, give or take. Maybe about 30 or 40 million active wallets on a monthly basis. Maybe about 6 to 10 million total people, unique, have bought an NFT. It's small numbers relative to the 4 or 5 billion people on the internet. But what draws people in to NFTs, which many of us believe is the catalyst for mainstream crypto adoption, is not just the PFP profile collections where they're limited to 10,000 per collection, but gaming. So the combination of electrifying an NFT, turning it into a game, more than just a simple collectible or digital flex experience, is what's drawing more numbers of people. And that makes sense, just because there's more than 10,000 per collection. Now, on what chains are people buying NFTs? Well, the chart on your left shows you the total number of NFTs sold, or volumes sold per chain, and the one on the right is just the last 30 days. Now, they're pretty similar, but they're not identical. And the reason I wanted to show you this is, of course, we all know Ethereum has dominated, but Ronin, Solana, and Flow have a significant amount of activity as well, and the numbers still change over the course of a month. The reason I show this to you is it's a very dynamic environment. By no means are we anywhere near some maturity or steady state about what's happening in NFTs. It's emergent, it's new, despite the massive numbers of dollar adoption. This is just another look at the same thing. Now this is 30 days, but captured in May. And I did this to show you again just how dynamic a lot of this activity is driven by new collections or new releases and drops on specific chains. So here we have Flow leading in the 30 days back in May. Now, my hope, and I think it's yours too, is that none of this matters to consumers, right? We don't really want consumers to care on what chain their NFTs are. At CoinFund, we sort of see a multi-chain world surviving, maybe prospering, and a lot of the questions about what chains, is there inter-chain compatibility for my NFTs, hopefully go away and get masked from the consumer. But still, as developers, and I know many of you are developers in the audience, you care about where should you deploy. And the answer is there really isn't a wrong answer right now. We have success across the leading multiple chains. Now, you're hearing about the crash in crypto prices, that it was all a fraud. This is just a Ponzi scheme. Of course, none of those statements are true. Yes, there are bad actors in every new ecosystem, But crypto and NFTs in particular show a decisive amount of activity despite the fall in asset prices in the last 6 months. This is the last 12 months of NFT trading volume. And yes, we certainly hit a local maxima in January of this year. And numbers are down, but they're non-zero. It's not like it's over. And it probably is going to continue to waver for some time. But what we care more about is what is the profile of users, and does that indicate a healthy product or service? And let's take a look at that. First of all, let's look at the total value of NFTs versus a popular asset like Ethereum. So the purple bar here is showing you the last 6 months value of Ethereum. So about $200 and some billion market cap today. Of course that's down because all coin asset prices are down. But the light blue line that's going up is the total NFT market cap. And very few people are willing to point out the fact that even though asset prices rise and fall and can get dumped and pumped, that the total value of NFTs, now these are different axes, so it's only about $20 billion or so of total NFT volume, the market cap has continued to rise. And this is a consequence of the fact that so many of you are releasing new NFTs and people are buying them, which is a sign of health. The other thing that excites me the most about NFTs, as someone who invests in consumer products and services, is the ARPU, the average revenue per user. NFTs attract people willing to spend. In fact, they spend a lot. This is one look at 1 year's worth of NFT volume, and it shows about $900 average spend. The people who buy NFTs tend to buy more than one. Now let's just put this number in perspective. I have seen numbers range from as low as $100 per year to about this $900 number. So by no means is it perfect, but as a range, let's put it in perspective. Netflix's ARPU, average spend per user over the course of a year, is about $180. Spotify is under 60. So as a consumer product, we look at NFTs and we're super excited because people are willing to spend, and they spend a lot. In fact, the average person who buys one NFT buys more than one. So this is a product that resonates with consumers and we think is a predictor of some large health. What types of NFTs are succeeding? Well, no surprise. PFPs, collectibles, and art dominate the landscape, but we're not complete here yet. NFTs represent the property rights for all digital creativity and all digital intellectual property. But we're just not seeing strong evidence that things like music and domain names and photography and IP, other forms of IP like fonts, have tipped into the mainstream yet. But keep trying, and I have some confidence that those categories will find product market fit also. So, what's working? Well, we know collections are, PFPs and art, sports collectibles, and play-to-earn gaming, unquestionably. We see lots of activity in music, using NFTs as utility. Remember, NFTs are software. They're dynamic. We expect them to change over time and not be a static moment in time as a collectible. They will improve. Their scarcity and rarity will increase. And maybe they'll even personalize more to the owner. We don't see all of that yet, but we expect it. Metaverses and land, I don't think the metaverses are here just yet. There's a lot of activity. Metaversi, is that it? But there's a little bit of land purchase. Generalized gaming, the financialization of NFTs, taking an NFT and borrowing against it, or being able to loan to an NFT owner, just starting to see activity around it. And what's the future? Well, of course, the rest of intellectual property, books, movies, fonts, and then the connection of NFTs to real-world assets. Those things are in the future. We're super bullish. I know you are too, or 15,000 of you wouldn't have trounced into New York City to carry the torch and tell everyone about it. I'm super excited to be a part of this week. I hope to see many of you. If you've got exciting NFT projects, please come find me or someone from CoinFund. Have an incredible week, and thank you to Jody and the rest of the team.
Thank you very much. David, you've also been here since the beginning, haven't you?
I'm an OG.
Thank you very much, Mr. OG.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.